elections, two one day and two the second day, and that's on the 20th and the 21st. So really try to get your treasurers on, because we always have problems, especially with people with scholarship funds, and they're commingling that money with their dues money. So that is a no-no. It's like illegal. You get us in big trouble. So we really, want to provide the information that you need, and make sure that, you get the help if you've got, especially a new treasurer. But if anybody needs help, Tara can also help. And then I think Gretchen can help to some extent. Gretchen is the Buncombe County treasurer, so she's doing that for a local. So she has experience that way. But like I said, treasurer's training, secretary, Zoom training, parliamentary procedure. I haven't confirmed the one about how to raise money for the foundation, but I'm asking people today about that. We got membership with Nell. She'll come on with some ideas for everybody. Colleen, she did her nuts and bolts about how to register people and some of the things when people, especially new members, are coming on board. And then some people got overwhelmed by Julia's website, but she's got a little search bar on the upper right hand corner, and so she's going to go over that. Last year she got cut off and the link didn't work. She had to set up another link, so it just didn't work as well. But this year she's going to try to show you how to navigate, and she's got some links to some pages that you can look at, kind of be your cheat sheet if you're trying to find something. Like I know if I'm looking for a list of something like the local presidents, I go into who we are. But I had to kind of learn that. But we have one of the award-winning websites. We won first place at the NEAR convention last year. Remember, that was on the front page of the newsletter. So Julia, it all goes to her and all the work that she's done. But if you do have a hard time with something, you can always email her and she'll help you out too. Lena's going to do region director training, and we're going to have a session like we did last year on committees. And I haven't talked to those people yet, so we want to always beef up our committee. So one of the things I wanted to talk about is the regional elections, and most of the regional elections have taken place so far this year. We only have a few left. I think Region 5 did theirs today. We've got 4, 2, and 1B. I believe they're the only ones that are left that have not held their actual election. And one thing that I wanted to share with everybody is, and this form is on the website. I emailed it to all the local presidents. So, and also I'm going to send it back to the elections chair. We came up with a new form for you to use. So if I can find it here, I think it's this one here. All my files. Yeah, this is it right here. Can you see that? Because I can't. Oh yeah, here it says participants can see. So do you see this report right here? Everybody should be able to see it. If somebody doesn't, say something, okay? This form is just to report the election results in the region, and so it's okay for other people to know about this, because you can make sure that that's being done in your particular region. So all you have to do is fill in the region number, and then after you had your election, some regions will have 2 directors, others will have 1. So if you've got 2, you fill out the information for both people. If not, if you have 1, you fill it out for 1 person. And then everybody gets at least 1 associate director. So if you have 1 associate director, you fill in that name if you have one. If you don't, then I guess it would be basically vacant. In some of the regions, and it's 2, 3, and 4, and 5, they get 2 associate directors. So they would be filling in those names. And then you have the secretary and the treasurer. And one of the biggest things that we had is, like maybe 2 years ago, and we always have when there's elections, nobody sends in the information. And Carol's having to send emails and ask people to send in the names of the people. And in the policy, it tells you you're supposed to return it within a certain period of time. So the best thing to do is right when you hold the election in your region. So if you're in any of those regions that haven't had their election, or if you like Nell's in 7A, maybe Nell could check to make sure they're sending it in. And so it would be submitted by probably the elections chair because they're kind of responsible. And then we would put down what date. And then we're also asking for copies of the self-nomination form. So anybody that was running for office would turn in that copy to the elections chair. And then afterwards, the election chair would send all that to Raleigh. So that would verify that we used the right process, because that's one of the big things is using the right process. And then if you did have any ballots, some people had ballots, some did not today. I think the lady didn't know if we might have some nominations from the floor or whatever. And so she can send in the ballots because she's got proof of how many people were there and how many people voted. And you're sending that to Raleigh so we can share that with like NCAE so they know that, you know, we're kind of following the proper process. So this will be the last time that a region election like this will take place at a region meeting, because the rules are going to change, and starting next fiscal year, basically July 1st of 25 through 26. The next election for region directors or region officers will be done electronically, and then it will be done. It will start the last day of the NCRSP Convention, and then it will go for 10 days. And it will be the same voting period that you're voting for your delegates to the National Convention. So both of those like would be on there. Next year, the state officers, president, vice president, secretary, and treasurer, they will also be done electronically. And the balloting period will be that last Sunday of the NCAA convention, and it will end 10 days later. So we're doing it in the process based on our present policy, which and the new policy is not supposed to go into effect until 2026, according to information that we received from NCAE. So this is the form. So maybe you can help spread the word. I'm going to be sending it out again, and I want people to make sure that they're using that form. Okay, let's see. I guess I didn't. Okay. So then I have, I wanted to run through just a few things that I had sent out. I'm trying to figure where it is now. I got a lot of pages. Yeah, I'll get rid of this one. Now I'll go out of the way. Yeah, I think it's this one. Yeah, it's this one right here. Can you see it? I think maybe I did do that right. Let me put it down. Go up. I shared at that time. It's not telling me you can see it, but can you see it? Do you see a white sheet on the screen?
We can see it, but the font is so small, it's not readable.
Okay, I had to, I was trying to make it so when you printed it, it wouldn't be tremendous big, because I can make it bigger right here, so that's all you have to say. How about that? So this is the same email I sent out in March to the region directors and elections chair. And I sent it, like I said, today to the local president. And basically kind of local presidents are supposed to be on here. So what I'm basically saying here, I gave a copy of the self-nomination form. So if you look back at your email that you got this morning, it will have that form. It has a copy of the election policy. It has an election policy with yellow marks on it. I have a summary by region, by date, of kind of like by month, exactly, starting January through like May, the process that you would take in these regional elections. And then I also have that new form that I just showed you. I put that in there too. All this is in your email you got this morning. And then also I added, read page 2 of the panorama. when you got the panorama before our convention, on page 2, on the bottom was a story that I put together about the regional election. So that went to everybody's mailbox in the whole state. So we have, and so I'm just saying that the copies of the NCRSP regional election policy, if you go to the website and you look at, on the left-hand side, it'll say like our documents. And that's, you click on that, and then the Constitution and will pop up, and it will tell like all the procedures and everything. Okay, so the key thing was, this is just going over what should have happened like in your region. Everybody's given notice that this election is coming up. The region director appoints an elections chair. When I started with this back in January, only 3 regions had elections chairs. By the time we got through, every region had an elections chair. So that's what's important. They have to have somebody that's kind of in charge. And you can set up a committee if they do it by themselves. The policy that we have now even refers to committee. So you could have they could have an extra person that maybe the region director would appoint, because it's not me, it's the region director that appoints the elections chair. So that person has to be fair and like an impartial, and that's why it speaks to, like in some of our papers, official papers at NCAE, that you can't be part of the election process. It's like you don't run for state senate and you're on the board of elections and you're involved like in counting the ballots. So you have to always separate the election officials from who's actually running for the particular offices. And then our policy says it's supposed to take place at the spring meeting. And I know some people had already planned their meeting, and the meeting was going to be a little bit later than what we had in our policy. But this policy had not been totally followed very much in more recent years. And I really found out 2 years ago that many people were not following this. So that's why I'm trying to make sure that we're using these guidelines for this year. But next year, like I said, it will be different. Some people, they had met and had an executive board meeting. And so maybe they have one person representing every local in their region. Plus maybe they have the officers. They might have 10 to 15 people. And they were saying, well, who's going to run next year? And they kind of figured out who the slate was going to be. But that's not really the way it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be democratic. It's supposed to be one man, one vote, or one woman, one vote. How about that one? Or one person, one vote. So the whole thing is that it shouldn't be a small group of people deciding for the masses. And that's one of the reasons for having the whole region will be electing the region officers after this election. This will be the last time it will be selected only by the people at the region meeting. It will be selected, well, the ballots will go out to everybody in the region, and we hope more people will participate than maybe a group of maybe 50 to 100 people that would show up at a region meeting. It's the same thing for the state officers. Last year, I think we had 900 people to vote for state officers and for the delegates. This year we had about 700. But we have a membership of 7,300. And so only a couple hundred people at the convention voted for all the officers instead of opening it up to everybody in the state. So that's the process. And then it's also going to guarantee security, that you will have the online voting like we do for the delegates. And so that's important. So everybody's going to get it. It's going to be a secret ballot. Nobody has to mail something in to tell who they're going to vote for, raise their hand, do whatever. And so doing electronically will be much better. The policy says that you have to meet by May 1st at your region meeting. I believe that everybody is going to meet before June 1st this year. We have, I think, 3 meetings coming up here in the next couple weeks. So if that's fine, the policy said by May 1st, but we had amended the policy when we met on February 17th. And then we said the changes were only going to go into effect July 1st. So we were going to give everybody until June 1st to hold their meeting. So I'm saying we can, it's like we can be a little bit flexible. because we weren't expecting people to make big changes. Maybe they had already signed up for a certain place to meet. Maybe they paid a down payment. We don't want them to have to do that all over again. So I think everybody, even if they started kind of doing this process, they went back, they sent it out to everybody. They've been asking people to run, and some still can't get people to run. But like I said, at least we're trying and we're going through the process. Okay, that's what I just said. And then there's this new form. So that new form needs to be turned in. If you use the other form that has the committee chairs, I mean, it's okay, but at the bottom of the new form, it has a place for the person to sign and date it, of who they were, and they're sending in this result. And it should pretty much be the person that is the elections chair that's reporting this information, not somebody that's running like a region director. And then nobody's going to get sidetracked. I just want the election result. And then later, we'll send the rest of the form out and we'll say, you know, turn in your committee chairs, because maybe they don't know who the committee chairs are going to be. So we wanted to give them time to do that, and we'll give them more time, probably it may be till July 1st or something, to see if they couldn't get their committee chairs confirmed. So we changed the form. It's just election results. Trying to do one thing at a time. And this kind of goes through the sample thing. But here, this is what I sent out in one of those emails that she got. It talks about the schedule. We're right here. We're saying, get the thing together, send out all those self-nomination forms, make sure you get them in. Be sure that anybody that did send a form in, make sure you're not losing it. We had somebody last year that lost the form for this person. And he said, I got one from somebody. Well, I heard this secondhand, but this is what I heard. I heard that I got a form, but I don't know what happened to it. I lost it, must have lost it in email. And so he didn't know who it was. And so somebody there in the room said, at the region meeting said, that was me. I sent my form in. Well, they just kind of ignored her and they didn't say, well, here, fill it out again. We kind of made a mistake because we knew one was lost and it was hers. But instead, they didn't let her run. And then somebody in the room said, well, I'm this particular officer. If she didn't fill out the form ahead of time and she wanted to run again, so they let her fill it out. They let her run and they let her win that election and just cut this other person out. After that time period, the treasurer has since resigned, and the person who wanted to serve that was not allowed to even run, she's the new person in that position. But, you know, we need to make sure that the election chair is keeping up with everything. But you don't want to leave somebody out. That's why really somebody running for office needs to keep a copy of their self-nomination form so they can say, well, here it is right here. This is like what I emailed to you. So back in February, these forms were sent out to everybody. We told everybody here that some regions, like 2, 3, 4, and 5, get 2 region directors, but they can't be from the same local. And these same regions get 2 associate directors. Now, don't ask me why, but somehow this was in some type of NCAE policy going back more than 10 years. And it might have been when they were dividing up and these regions had more members than the others. But I assume that that's what it was. So still today, they still get 2 people, and where some of the regions, all the other regions, director and 1 associate director. But again, this is in the policy, which you have a copy of. So we publicized the information. I know came about as the region director in Region 5, and I was listening in our meeting, and I understood that she went around to every local in our region and told them about this election and encouraged people to participate. And then also the elections chair, emailed the people. So that's what should have been going on, reaching out to every local to try to get people. And then it was in the panorama. So now we're down here to April and May. And so everybody's having their region meetings. Like I said, about half the people have actually done that. on the forms, it said they have to be sent 7 days before the election is held. You know, I think that could probably be a little bit flexible. If you could get somebody to serve, man, we want to take them. But in the new policy, we were going to do away with that, that you had to do it before 7 days before the election. But you know, next year you're going to have to do it way in advance, because in order to get on the electronic ballot, we're going to have names probably, maybe a couple months ahead. I'm not sure, but they'll have to definitely do that. But if you, so let's go down here. So you're going to have the election. You're going to, you know, create, distribute, collect, and count ballots if you have ballots. If there's like one person running for each office, you can, you know, just move to accept the nominees as presented and take a vote. And then you swear them in. You fill out that paperwork that I gave you the example of. And this is the most important thing. If you have vacancies, like up in 1A, the Lee Berger, I think maybe you were there or participating. I think you didn't fill all your positions. I think that you don't have a region director, but that doesn't really make any difference. But they have some officers, but not all of them. Is that correct, Lee?
I believe we have a secretary who filled out the form, and we accepted her nomination. The treasurer, there was a verbal that she would be willing to do it again, but we didn't have the form. And yes, we don't have any other officers for that area for us.
Yeah, so you need a region director. So there's one last hope for you. The region executive board. So that would be the officers of the region and the committee chair. You can meet within 14 days, and I understand that that's what you're going to do.
Yeah, we're going to have, right, Sharon? We've got a Zoom meeting scheduled, I think, but.
Right, and so they're going to have to be talking to some people, see if they can get somebody to make a commitment, because Marty was running for something too. Was he running for associate director? No.
No.
Okay.
Sharon, what did Marty say? He was kind of funny about it.
Oh, okay. I thought he was able to get it. All right. So anyway, they're a perfect example. I think down in 6B, they didn't, you know, I'm not calling names and like calling people out. I'm just saying that, hey, they just couldn't quite get everything filled. And we've even got one vacancy in Region 5. So the Region Executive Board can meet and accept local recommendations. You know, like locals can talk to their people. They find somebody that will run. They can bring it to the Zoom call. And submit it to the, you know, executive board. They can accept it, and then it says that vacancy is supposed to be turned into the admin council. So you could send it to the office like Tara Williams, and so Tara would get those elections, that nomination basically, and then the admin council would just, if you find somebody, we're going to approve them. That's kind of a fallback. I know they used that in 6A last time to fill their associate director's position. So a lot of people didn't know about that before. So this is something that, you know, can really help people. So just, especially if you're in regions that have just voted and found out you had a problem. So is there any questions about that? I kind of ran through it fast, but you've got the copies of everything, and most of you have been through the process, or you're kind of understanding. Okay, any other questions about that? Okay. Let's see what other highlights I have on my agenda. Oh, this is where I wanted to talk about the grant. We got the $1,000 grants that have been going out, and I wanted to kind of learn a little bit about. Well, I want to learn about some things like what's going on. You know, has anybody held some meetings? Okay, let me stop sharing. So we'll just look at each other. Who has had a meeting? Maybe a mini region meeting, some type of meeting where you were trying to recruit new members, and it's something that you could tell us about. I know now you're about to have a meeting.
Yes, we'll be having good evening. Yes, Region 7A, we will have our we were trying to have two events. We were trying to have one in the eastern part and the northeastern, but the person that was in charge of eastern, well, some things came up, but we are going to have one on May the 17th at from 11 to 2. So we have already got everything organized and we're sending out flyer. I will send you a flyer to flyer and all of the information. So we are scheduled to have it on May the 17th.
And so are
And
you,
Rocky.
where is it, Rocky Mount?
Yes, in Rocky Mount. I said I will send you the information on flyer and everything sometime this week because I'm supposed to get the flyer. I have to print it in today or whatever, but I will send the information to you.
Well, you might talk to me later. I don't know if you must have some leftover money that you could spend.
This is for I'm sorry, I thought you was talking about for the regional grant. Is that what you're talking
Yeah,
about?
the regional $1,000 grant.
Right, that's what I was talking about.
Right. So, you know, we've got that money, $1,000 per region, except for 2 that didn't want to accept it, regions 2 and 3. So, you know, we want you to be able to spend it if you need a little extra time to kind of like come up with some event that that you could do in another area. You know, just think about it. You know, you talk to me later.
Okay.
Because
All right then. Thank you.
Because you got the money, and I don't know what we're gonna do if we if we can't spend it, then it doesn't look real good, does it? But
No.
the thing is, sometimes it doesn't work. And I think maybe it was easier for the locals to do it than it was for the region to pull everybody from the region together. Takes more work. So we'll just see. Well, how about Julia? I think you have something down there in Carteret County. Then when you talk to me and I find out what's going on, then you gotta talk to us. Are you there, Julia?
Yes, do you mean Region 7B?
Region 7B, you had a little get together with Craven County?
Yes, ma'am. We had it in Morehead City, and it was really neat because Dr. Oliver came and spoke about the legislative agenda, and that was fabulous. Kathy Drew came and she spoke more about membership, and that was fabulous. It was really exciting. We had expected 60 to 70 people, but we got 4 people from from Craven County, and a few people from Carteret County. Now, of the Carteret County group, I think that they all signed up to become members. And one of them was a rollover as a former NCAE president of the Carteret local. And I don't know what Craven eventually came up with, but it was really neat. And we had drawings for some prizes that were donated, and our members themselves paid for a guest lunch, that is, a non-members lunch. So it was kind of minimal expenses.
Yeah, but remember, save your receipts and turn it into Oliver to get reimbursed from that region money.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Lena's on here. Lena, I saw something somewhere. Something was written down about what happened in Region 4. You had some type of gathering. Lena, are you there? Okay. Oh, is Teresa Chapman on? Is that Teresa Chapman? I see Teresa. It might be another Teresa. Who else has had a gathering? Now, Jean Pearson. She gets the accolades. This lady, she has some like 60 people to show up in Henderson County. June, talk about what happened and what your purpose was. She was trying to reactivate Henderson County. And then they had a region meeting there. So June, can you tell us? Are you there?
Linda, when June finished, I will say I was trying to get inside from work. I'm home now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, June's not saying anything, so I don't know. Maybe somebody that has her phone number. Tama, can you call her? Call her and see what. Maybe something happened. Yeah, tell us, Lena, what happened in Region 4, because that's how
Well,
we.
well, Region 4, of course, we shared it with at our meeting, which include our local presidents. So I'm going to say Chatham County has turned in one, Greensboro, Guilford has turned in one, And I know Chatham County, I have to give them praise because they got recognized for growing their membership. Greensburg, Guilford grew 13 new members. So, but we have sort of written up the activities that we've done. I saw one from Chatham County that looks at an outstanding application, because we sort of tied it into what we call use our form of grant application that they were used to. And so we went through there in order to come up with the ideas for the state, so that and to build on those ideas. And it looks like they have done just that. So we're looking forward to that. Haven't gotten all our receipts yet, but they have been hard at work. And when you see membership growing, we know then that we must be doing something halfway right.
Exactly. And that, you know, we've got 192 new members since last year. We hope to get some more. So if you have meetings and people did sign up, try to get those forms in as soon as possible so they can be, so then the new member packet will go out to them with their membership number and everything. And that way, you know, we'll get those numbers. I'd like to at least get out to 200. You know, we're hoping to get to 250. But yeah, so every county, just got one person. That'd be like 100 right there. And then I just see Chatham was like got a 7.4% increase.
Well, Chatham has already gotten a new member for 25, 26.
Okay, and last year when you got your members, you got them at your end
of year celebration.
Yeah, they have a great celebration. Tell a little bit about your celebration. You have the room packed.
President Melton Hardy Powell is on. She's the president. She would like to speak.
Oh, okay, there she is. I see her. Melton, would you like to talk about what happened last? Because that was kind of from the people last year that you signed up at their
last year I pretty much pulled off that with the executive board. We invited the different dignitaries. We invited the principals to bring their soon to retire members. We invited Colleen Lanier came. Madam President, you were there. Regional President Harrison was there. We did a nice celebration, recognized members for the work that was done in the local and our new members. At that time, past President Idris Glover was president, and she recognized a lot of members for what they had done. And at that celebration, we did sign up new members, and we're already on the track for signing up new members this year. Hopefully, we will meet and surpass the state's percentage.
Okay, that's great. We'll take it. They have an ice cream social. They even have lactate-free ice cream. That's what I need to do. Thank you. But then they have what I need too, and lots of toppings. And the superintendent was there. The HR director. Did Robert Reeves come? It seemed like he didn't come last year.
Yes. Representative Reeves came. At that time, Mr. Maurice Green, he was there. Sheriff Department was there. Board of Education representation was there. We just had an array of dignitaries. So we're trying to pull in our dignitaries' resources so that they can go out also and help us support our organization.
And I think your scholarship winners were there too. So those people were in the group. Well, it was excellent. Like I think they had 6 members just like that. Colleen was there, helping us whip those forms out and everything. So that's just an idea that I have shared with another local who needed to make sure they got enough people to come. So we advertised it, it's a simple ice cream social, but there's a little bit of food, there's dessert, and then these other people are coming, and people want to show up. And they remember last year the room was about full, and so I think they'll show up again this year. Nell, you've got something to add?
Yes, I would like to say that on Tuesday, our local unit, Edgecombe Nash, we're having what we call a spring fling. And this will be our second year of that. And we are inviting potential members and our members. We have a luncheon. We'll be doing fun activities, recognizing and giving out awards to our members, celebrate birthdays. And so it'll be a time that we'll like winding down things at the end of the year. And so far, we have about 50 people that have signed up to be present. So it's just a time to reflect on what we have done for the year. This is our local unit, and we'll celebrate. And so it'll be Tuesday at Edgecombe Community College in Carver, North Carolina. Thank you.
Okay, and that's another good place to meet now. Community College, Chatham County meets at the library. So this is just your Rocky Mountain Nash group. So well, that's great. I actually put that on my calendar for something I saw.
President Gunter, this year Chatham County will hold their celebration May 14th at 4 o'clock. It's Central Services. Our Central Services is also known as the county level building.
So it's that building on the left-hand side when you come into Chatham County from the east.
On the Renaissance Parkway, I think, yes.
And actually, it's going to be at 4:30, not 4 o'clock.
Okay, because I have 4 o'clock now, I think myself. Okay, well, thank you, Milton. I'll look up the address. One time I had a hard time finding the library. I'm not familiar. I was driving right by and didn't see it.
Well, we can send you the address to Central Services.
Okay, yeah, so just email it to me. That would be great. And then June, are you back on? Can you tell about what happened in Henderson County? Pam, did you catch up with her, or did you call June? Tama, did you call June earlier, or she's not on mute now? But she's not answering. Okay. How about Sandra? Is this Sandra from
Yeah. Can you hear me?
From Watauga County?
From Watauga, yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Okay.
Okay. Sorry, I'm not getting a video today. We did in April, we did a tea party, and we did it as a Alice in Wonderland's Mad Hatter's Tea Party. And we dressed up like characters to greet the guests. We contacted over 20 people that are in the process of retiring or have already retired and not joined us. We had 5 to come, which was kind of disappointing, but the others had very good excuses for not being there. But the contacts are still being worked on. We've had one person to join, but with their applications out there, so we're waiting. Colleen came and spoke to us, and we had some other district visitors as well. But our last meeting is on the 15th of May, so I'm hoping that some of those people that were at the tea will bring their memberships with them.
Yeah, so invite them to your meeting. Call them. See if they need a ride.
Right.
Maybe somebody lives in their neighborhood, where they live. Well, that's good. They're so creative in Watauga County. If I went, I wouldn't even know how to dress up. So that got people in, and that's what I heard, that it was more like, let's have fun, show what a great group this is, and they didn't really push the membership. They were going to talk to people later. So sometimes that's what you have to do. Anybody else want to share? I think Durham County, you went to the retirement dinner and had some results. Linda Strickland, that was mentioned at the Region 5 meeting by that gentleman that spoke. Linda?
Yes, we did each year go to the Durham Public Schools retirement dinner, and Liz Conroy and I, along with other members, go and greet those people who are coming in who are retiring. And we do pick up quite a few people who sign up. And after that time, Liz reaches out to them and invites them to our beginning of the year activity that we have each year in August. And last year we did pick up about 4 or 5 members to come in. Hopefully we can do the same this year.
Because you almost were on the list for the top, the top locals in your group, but I guess you end up not getting the award. But I know they were talking about you, and you had a pretty high number of people that joined last year as a percent of your population. So that was great. So basically, well, you kind of share. We've got. I wanted people to talk about attending local retirement meetings. Put on by the school system. That's what Durham was doing. All local presidents need to be reaching out. I know some people, like in Wake County, we can't get the list of the people, and I think maybe they even canceled any kind of retirement dinner. So if your local school system will support you and has a retirement dinner, if they would just allow you to come and maybe have a little table, have some of your materials, you can always have a couple gift cards for like $25. And if people fill out their information, so you have their name, address, email, and phone number, so you can get back with them, that then you can have a drawing at the end of the retirement meeting, or maybe the superintendent will take care of it for you. So that's really important to do that. And then also to have different recruiting sessions within your region with the grants. And then I know somebody was saying they got the names of anyone that was retiring, and that's what Sandra and Watauga was able to get that list, I guess, from the school system. So that varies from place to place. Sometimes you have to play up to the superintendent. So I hope that everybody is making their last minute push, because there are people. In fact, I have somebody that I was going to send the form to them this afternoon. I was waiting for something from Carol. So I've got somebody that I was recruiting, because I'm trying to do my part too, so I can say, well, I got somebody. I'm not going to be at the top of the list because I'm trying to do other things to encourage y'all to get that done, and hopefully you can be successful with anything we can do. And then Sid, he usually has some names of people from the last like 3 years that had retired but had not joined, and so we're gonna have to check that on. I know June got that information for Henderson County, because she had dealt with him when they planned the meeting in the fall. So the other thing, so just anything that you can do, mini region meetings, individual county, because then it's closer. Sometimes what works in your county doesn't work someplace else. So whatever, you think is the best thing. Even like in some areas are high retirement areas, like in Dare County, they get people that come down from the north that taught in another state and are living now in the Outer Banks, and they become I guess community ally members. Sometimes they don't want to pay the $144. You could ask for it though, but even if they're an ally member, they're going to come to the meetings, and they donate food. They donate to the foundations. They can't donate to the PAC. But the thing is, like in Dare County, I think they have like 30 extra people like that. So some of those eastern counties are getting to be, really like the new hotbeds with the beaches when people want to move to the beach. And then you've also got people in the mountains. I know Watauga got somebody that moved back from California, moved back to Watauga County, and he's active in their local. So if we can get those people, sometimes that'll really help. Okay, so I think that's enough about grants and trying to recruit people. Use up your $1,000, get the names of people. The other thing now is about your list. Every year I talk about at the beginning, I talk about at the end. When we email out to people, these emails bounce back. And so that is really bad. The best thing that you can do is to try to make sure your lists are clean and up to date. Make sure that when you email, the email is not coming back. It maybe it's full, or no such email exists anymore. Call these people. You have to send them a postcard or something and try to get their information. Carol, she's working on people in constant contact, because some will actually unsubscribe to Constant Contact. It's like, oh my gosh, so she has to tell them this is one big way you're going to get information. And if you don't let us use your email address in Constant Contact, then, you're going to miss out on a lot of things that you're paying, your dues money for, and you want to keep up with what's going on. So she has to then take those emails, and I think she sends them 50 at a time. She can only send so many. She emails to them and asks them if they'll resubscribe, and she sends them a link about how to do that. But she has something like 299 people that did that. So she's constantly trying to get those people. But if you just send a test email, I think pretty much everybody knows how to do it. Just send a test email to everybody in your local, and if they bounce back, then you look them up. Who are they on the list? And then you need to get people to call those names. See if you can get people, like maybe, I don't know, 10 people to call 5 people. And so they don't have that many people that they have to catch up with. But go through your list. That is just so, so important, because it also hurts with the newsletter we send out. The panorama always goes by email to everybody that's got email. But if we don't have the correct email address, it's going to bounce back and they're not going to get the electronic copy. And of course, we mailed to everybody this past year both times. So please do that. It's so, so important. And then when you get corrections and they've got a new email address, new address, send it to Carol, C. McLam at NCRSP.org. C for Carol, McLam, MCLAMP at NCRSP.org. Say that right? Or you can put it in the chat, Carol. Put your email address in. Carol's in charge of all names and lists. That's her. But she also pays the bills too. She's the bookkeeper. And she does a great job with that too. Okay. And when sign up a new member. If you're signing up somebody, I learned this from Colleen, and Colleen's going to have that workshop, I think, tomorrow on that. But one thing that she was telling me when I was talking to her last night, if you're signing up somebody that has been a member, then if they were doing EFT or credit card, all you have to put on there is, I forgot the wording, like the information is on file. The information is on file. So the information is on file, so there you can use the same credit card, the same bank draft that was used for NCAE. If it's a payroll deduction, and this is I guess if they're doing it or if they did it in the past, they have to have all the numbers of their Social Security. They have to have the whole thing. But otherwise, I guess in some cases, only 4 digits are needed. There's also a link, and I guess we're going to have to send them the link. Colleen sent me a link. So if you have somebody, and I'll send this to every local president, if you have somebody that is an NCAE member, they're retiring, they have to drop NCAE. So they have to click on this link and tell them that they're dropping, and they have to sign some form. So then it's official. They have admitted they are dropping their membership. And then they can go ahead and fill out the form for NCRSP. Did I state that correctly, Carol? Add to if you need to.
That's right. That's right. There is a link, and it takes them to a page where they need to identify the date that they are retiring. And then also with that same email, the staff at the membership department of NCAE, as well as Tara and myself, will send them information about benefits to join NCRSP and the cost and the application itself. So in that same process, they can request to cancel their active membership and roll over to the retired group.
So if you're recruiting somebody and you want to get your $10, then you need to kind of like share the link and share the information and give them a membership application form. So sometimes that's an extra incentive for people.